It is August 21st, 2021. Here we go, SummerSlam. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Raj Giri and Chuck Carroll. Tonight, Alfred and Issa are on the scene in Las Vegas. An epic SummerSlam, and WWE fans, you're welcome. Over the last week, I feel I willed into existence the return of Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch, saying Vince was going to do that to counter the amazing press AEW has had in the last 24 hours. Circumstances, the stars aligned. Those are the two big headlines from the show. Some championships changed. There's a lot to unpack. Raj, good to see you again. It has been a while.
It has been a while, man. Good to see you, too. Yeah, it's been months since we've done a show together.
Well, I'm still in Northern California, but next year, Vegas.
You're not in Vegas.
No. Oh, renovations apparently cost twice as much as they tell you and take 3 times as long as they tell you. So maybe this fall, hopefully this fall.
Damn.
But next summer, Vegas, Money in the Bank. It's going to be on. Chuck, great to see you as well. I think, Chuck, the last time I saw you was in Vegas. Then that was a while ago. But here we are, SummerSlam. Chuck, how are you feeling about tonight's pay-per-view?
Man, there were a lot of big hits and one big swing and a miss, man. I don't know if that whole Becky Bianca situation is going to kind of offset everything else that happened on the card, but we can certainly break that down, man. There is definitely a whole lot to get into.
Yeah. Raj, how are you feeling? As someone who reports on this stuff, who lives, eats, breathes it.
We broke the story that Sasha was officially off the card tonight. WrestlingInc.com broke the story. I thought it was a big thumbs down heading into that main event, and then the main event was a home run. I thought the match was great. Cena and Reigns did a great job. It was predictable, especially, I hate when they throw on a stip or that gives away the end of a match. When Roman said he's leaving WWE if he loses, he's not going to lose then. And this goes way back. WrestleMania 5, the week before Hulk Hogan, he said, "I swear that I will beat Macho Man for the title." And then you just knew. And it kind of took a lot of the drama away. So I don't like when they do that, but it was an awesome main event. And Brock, outside of his ponytail, that was just awesome. It was so cool. Like, it's one of those movies. It was like the Usual Suspects. I didn't think Usual Suspects was that great, and then the ending, then you're like, holy shit, that was awesome. And I thought this was like that.
I watched this movie, The Invitation, last night that everyone recommended to me. I was bored for the first 75%. The last 25%, it's like, okay, this was kind of epic. Like, I see what you did there. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
And that was the thing tonight. I believed at moments Cena could actually win this. Just to say, what weird thing are they going to do? But Brock showing up and Paul Heyman and his reaction.
Right.
I'm excited where that's going. Less so about the Becky Bianca thing because, that was...
Becky coming back was awesome.
Amazing.
They did Bianca wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong.
Yeah. Did you guys see? I mean, obviously you did, Raj. I know you did, and Glenn, you did too. The feedback right away from the fans. I mean, it was ultimate backlash so quickly. And I think that's going to take a lot of the shine off of Becky moving forward. I mean, it is great to have her back, but you can't do that, especially after you just did something similar to Kofi Kingston not that long ago, man. I mean, it's just not cool to build these tremendous athletes up like that and give them a push, the ones that they deserve, they've worked their ass off for, and then to squash them like this. I mean, this was even worse than what they did to Kofi, in my opinion. This is just complete shit.
I thought so too, because Bianca is a future star. She got a ton of momentum. Granted, Kofi's win was historic too, but Bianca's was the emergence of a breakthrough star at WrestleMania, and the stuff that she and Sasha had was magic, and it just pisses it away when you do that. When you beat her like a chump 4 months later, I just thought it was god awful, and you're always going to have those people like, well, we got to see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. But how often do we see where it goes and it goes nowhere? Mm-hmm. Almost every time. So fuck that shit. It sucked.
Yeah, and this wasn't Rocky 3. There was no story for why the champ was in over her head.
Right.
In this case, it just didn't make sense. I will say this though, 3 years, 3 SummerSlams later, I think Becky's going to get that heel heat that they failed to generate for her when the man was born.
I hope that was their intent to turn her heel here. Otherwise, they're just going to have to do it just out of necessity, man, because God almighty.
That would be stupid to turn her heel. She's like their biggest babyface. Why would you do that?
Her babyface doesn't win their comeback match that way.
Yeah, I'm all for Becky winning, but the way it was done was just god-awful. And it just kind of, I mean, it took me out of the show in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like I was negative after that. Even stuff that was good, I was finding myself criticizing, like Edge and Reigns, Edge and Seth Rollins, a really good match. Yeah. And I'm just like, this, the spear and the pedigree, that's unrealistic. That can't happen. But it was a good match.
And the weird thing is they've done so much with Bianca lately, with Carmella, Zelina. Like, there were 5 different ways. They could have given us this ending, had some sort of finish to save the match for later. Like, this was the worst possible outcome.
Yeah. I know there's people out there that are bringing up race. And I'm going to give WWE the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to just assume that maybe it's because Becky, it's her first match in forever. Maybe she's just not ready to have a long match. And this was, because Sasha was supposed to wrestle Bianca tonight. It wasn't like this was the plan going back for a while. Like the first SummerSlam, whereas they did kind of a similar thing with Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk Man, where Honky was supposed to wrestle Brutus Beefcake, and then they did a storyline injury. But with Sasha, it wasn't a storyline injury. Whatever it is, that was supposed to be the match tonight.
Yeah, but was she supposed to win? What was the booking supposed to be?
I don't know. I usually don't ask when I hear someone can't make a show. I don't ask what happened because I feel like that's none of my business, and I also usually don't ask who's going to win, just because I don't like posting spoilers. And every now and then when I get them, I'll tell people. If you want to know, I'll DM you, but I'm not posting it on the site.
It would be very interesting to know, though, what the original booking was. I assume the plan always was for Becky to come back in this time frame, but I'm curious what would have happened in the alternate reality tonight where Sasha and Bianca had their match.
Yeah.
Antoine Fair, $5 super chat saying, you shot your new star to answer a TV debut to CM Punk. So Carmella was there. She should have interfered. DQ build that feud for a month or two. Yeah, that makes no sense why they didn't go with this.
Or make it a 3-way, or even though it makes no sense for Carmella to get a title match after she's lost over and over.
Here's my thing. I want to know when the plan was put into motion to have Becky come back and get that title tonight. Like, clearly this had been in the works for a number of days, because if you were paying attention, you saw the shirt that she was wearing was "The Man is Back in Vegas." They're not going to print that, I don't think, the day of the show, which means that as these unforeseen circumstances bubbled up last weekend with Sasha and Bianca, I'm pretty sure that that's when the wheels were starting to go in motion. And maybe by Wednesday, when word came out that they were both cleared, and it turns out only Bianca was, that's probably when they pulled the trigger on that. That would be my guess, but I don't think that this was a day of show decision.
Well, I will say, though,
it was. Yeah, Sasha being pulled was a day of show decision. It could have been like like Becky was going to come out afterwards or something like that, but that match, it was last minute.
I can tell you, though, WWE, for when wrestlers debut merch, they do have the same setup similar to 1 hour tees backstage where they can do that. When it comes to manufacturing for sale, though, that was a single color. I don't know much about screen printing, but that was single color. I guarantee you they have a print shop that could have probably rushed that out in about 6 hours.
Because I don't think they were selling that at the arena, because that would have gotten out.
Yeah,
well, you know what they were selling, though, were those new John Cena t-shirts, though. And here was the kind of foreshadow also for that match is, they roll out his new t-shirt, which is really cool. It looked like Super Mario 3, right, from the original NES. But if you look close on the back, it said 16-time champion. And they're not going to print that for one night. Again, it's a 16-time champ. You're going to roll that out en masse, not just to have him win the 17th, man. Then that shirt becomes obsolete.
Right. And you know what else they were selling? $100 Vince McMahon shirt. Now, it came with like cards or something, but $100.
And $1 billion bill or something.
Yeah.
But wait, could they even sell it? Didn't the credit cards go down at the stadium?
They did. They were giving out free.
That's nationwide. It went down.
Ooh.
Yeah, whoa, it was really? Like this credit card processing system.
Skynet, man, it's finally happening.
I'm telling you, man, weird shit's going on. It's like it does seem like someone hacked into this and caused that. So
everybody check your statements. Gotta get on the blockchain. Adam D, $5 saying sign up for Peacock. Somehow a Goldberg match was better than 75% than everything else, including a Becky return match. Peacock canceled. Hey, watch that Saved by the Bell reboot. It was charming. The Goldberg match, that was different. I mean, that wasn't his longest match, but that was up there. Like, that was long for a Goldberg match.
I didn't think it was bad until the ending. I thought the ending sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben Walker, $4.99. Bianca will be fine. Becky is one of, if not the biggest stars on the roster, making a return. It's her time now. Pardon me. It's her time now. Puts Becky on a whole other level.
Bullshit. You remember when Kofi lost, and they're like, "Oh, well, now it gives Kofi a reason to get aggressive and change his character, and he's going to come back." How often do we see this? You know, like a loss like that helps somebody.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't kill Bianca by any means, but it doesn't help her. This isn't the best way to go forward with her character.
King Rail, $2. I believe King Rail was at the show tonight, saying Brock looked great. My son was flipping out, and that was a great surprise for everyone there in attendance. Wow, so many super chats tonight. So many people in attendance, Raj, tonight. This is like Mania numbers.
I know. Yeah.
SummerSlam. Kind of awesome. King Rail, $2 saying attended the show tonight. Becky might have gotten the Flair treatment.
What does that mean?
I would assume the Charlotte
Flair?
Yeah, like, right? I mean, but even seeing what happened tonight with Charlotte, like, it's disappointing, man. Like, we need new stars so bad, and here they've built up Rhea, they've built up Nikki, which was a surprise to everyone, and I know that didn't work as well as people thought. But Bianca, I think, was the most successful of this new crop, and it just doesn't make sense. And I'd be curious to know, we'll never know what Becky Lynch thought of this booking. Maybe 20 years from now we'll know what she thought of this booking, but this doesn't seem like something she would have been in favor of.
They did that with Sasha back in the day, where she'd win the title, lose it like 3 days later or a week later, and it stunted her growth. Like, it took years for her to finally overcome that.
Yeah. Malcolm Mitchell, £2. Will the big 4 or 5 pay-per-views be stadium shows permanently? I think given the response tonight, and I think given people's appetite to go out again, we're going to see more of this.
Oh, smack.
At the stadium. How about this?
Yeah.
How's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How you doing?
Good, man. This is a live on-site report from the stadium. I thought I'd just check it out. I'm on the floor at Allegiant Stadium here at SummerSlam. You guys don't see it. Baron Corbin is actually asleep right next to me. He does not want to be on camera, though. So,
what'd you think?
Oh, what did I think? I thought it was a very fun show. It was a fun show to be there live. The highs were really good. I will say the crowd kind of seemed to be killed by what happened with Bianca Belair, where she lost so quickly. I think people were really expecting like a really good match between, Becky Lynch, like a return match. And, there's a lot of Bianca Belair fans, so it kind of hit a lull there. But I will say, for a live show, I thought it was good. I thought it was a little long. There wasn't everything that I liked, but I really did think that for the most part, it was a pretty good show.
Who got the biggest reactions, would you say?
Biggest reaction? Well, Brock obviously got the biggest reaction of the night.
Right.
That was just, it was nuts. Becky Lynch got a very good reaction. I thought Edge was really over with this crowd, especially throughout the match. When he hit that spear, Edge hitting that spear on Seth Rollins, not the first crazy one, which did get a good reaction, but the one where people thought that was going to be the finish. The place went absolutely nuts for that. So Edge was super over with this crowd. And then Charlotte, this is a very pro-Charlotte crowd. I was very kind of surprised at, just given the narrative of a lot of people. I think she's very talented and I like Charlotte, but a lot of people seem to be kind of tired of her winning so much. But this crowd was very much behind Charlotte throughout this match. Charlotte's
great. I feel like she deserves where she is. Every match she's in is good. She elevates. And on the flip side, what did the crowd seem to hate?
Goldberg. What? No part of
it was weird because he was getting a good reaction coming out.
Yeah, he absolutely was getting a good reaction. Even I will say this, in terms of coming out, they didn't play his music for a while. They had that delay, and that's usually designed for people to start chanting Goldberg. These fans were not chanting Goldberg, and they just waited, and finally they played his music, and that kind of started to get some Goldberg chants. But, the more this match went on, Bobby Lashley was the biggest babyface in the building for the duration of this match because, I don't know what I feel bad for it. People pick and choose when they want to boo part-timers because those same people went nuts for Brock Lesnar. But Goldberg just had a rough night tonight against Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I feel like Goldberg should not be put in the title picture. I think I'm all for him being used. He's a superstar. He's a legend. He's a likable guy in real life too, but no one's buying that. Well, actually, I guess he can win the title. He did beat The Fiend last year, but keep him out of the title picture. Put him in matches with your Riddles and your Keith Lees, and he wins some, he loses some, but you put him in that mix. I feel like that's the best way to use him.
I could get on board with the Riddle match against Goldberg. I actually think that that's brilliant booking. I'll take that over him in a title match any day of the week. I think that that's actually really smart, Raj. You're onto something here, man.
Yeah, and knowing that he really doesn't want to do it makes it all the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Alfred, I have to ask, because I thought tonight, people said in their weird dystopian fantasy, what would it have been like if AEW had trolled last night and CM Punk hadn't shown up? It felt that way when Carmella came out tonight, that was the WWE expertly trolling their audience.
Yes, let me tell you something right now. There was not one CM Punk chant on this show. But had that match gone on between Bianca Belair and Carmella, this match would have been dominated by them. These people were getting ready. I mean, they were getting ready to go nuts about this. And you could just feel that kind of fervor. Because I've been in, we've all seen matches, we've seen moments where people are not happy and they just begin turning on WWE. And it was turning into that. And as it started, like Becky Lynch's music couldn't play fast enough to kind of turn this crowd.
It was weird because, I had broken the story earlier about Sasha not being there, and then they play the video package for Sasha and Bianca. It's like, why are you playing a video package to get you excited for the match when you're going to flat out tell people that the match is not happening a minute later?
Yeah.
And I was getting like hate tweets during that, like, you fucking idiot, you were wrong.
Well, I was getting ready. I was going to go back and delete a lot of stuff when that was happening. But then when they announced it was Carmella, I was like, this has to be. Right? I was like, people are going to throw shit into the ring if this is the actual match. Like, there's no way. And I love Carmella, but this is sort of that, you wanted Ice Cube, but you got Vanilla Ice sort of situation when you were expecting Sasha Banks versus Bianca, and then it was just going to be Carmella versus Bianca again.
Hey, Alfred, let me ask you from a...
No, go ahead, Chuck.
Let me ask you from a live perspective. You kind of glanced on this a little bit earlier, but describe for me how the energy actually changed in the stadium after the title changed hands, right? So obviously a shit ton of excitement as they're like, let's tear the roof down off of this place, right? But then it's over in a blink of an eye. And it's just, to me, watching at home and then watching my Twitter feed afterward, it seemed like all of the wind went out of everyone's sails. But just from a live perspective, can you really describe that for me?
Yeah, that's a great way of describing it, actually, Chuck. The wind going out of the sails. It felt like the energy just went out of the building because Becky Lynch, bad choice of words to say, what do you say we tear the roof off of here? And the expectation was tearing the roof down was them having a great match. And that was kind of what was the veiled promise that she was giving. And at the 3 count, initially it was a big pop, like a surprise, like, holy crap, that's the finish. And then it just, confusion, and there was even a bubbling of boos for Becky Lynch as like people kind of realized what had happened. And it was just confusion. It just turned into everybody kind of sitting around. The poor Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, which I didn't think was going to get a good reaction, and it was kind of put in a popcorn spot, but there was no reaction for this match. And people are just kind of sitting around confused and flummoxed as to how this went down. And I really do think that it hurt the show in terms of having this happen, because before then, this crowd was very, very hot. And this was definitely the lowest point for this match and for even the beginning of the women's match that came after it.
Yeah, it's very strange, man. And especially, couldn't they have cut the water gun segment to give?
Well, so this was my question. Because it was so last minute, do you think they didn't give it time because they, Sasha was pulled from, was officially pulled at the last minute?
She's been training, though. We've seen videos. She's been training.
Right. But maybe they felt like they didn't have enough time to work it out. So
I agree with Raj. That's what I think it is in terms of Becky Lynch has definitely been training to come back, but this wasn't probably her return. This probably was not what her return was supposed to be. It was probably a last minute thing. We were talking about it last night on the podcast. WWE likes to over deliver when they can't deliver their promised main event. Sometimes when they get in that spot, they like to over deliver. And so I very much expected Becky Lynch to be back, but it was probably because it was a last minute thing. She's not ready to go 20 minutes like a lot of people expected her tonight, that they just had a quick match.
Real quick, let's get us some of these super chats real quick. Alfred, if you could hang on with us for a few minutes. Some baller saying on the next pay-per-view, Paul Heyman on a pole match.
The emotions on his face tonight were Emmy worthy.
Oh,
you know what?
So good.
You know what sucked? The only thing that sucks with Brock coming back now is Brock and Roman, to me, is a WrestleMania match. And I have a feeling this is going to be a crown jewel match. And that's the only... I hope I'm wrong. But...
It's almost as if money makes the world go round.
Right. And Jax Callan saying she could have had a 3-minute match beating Carmella in a 3-way.
Or...
Now, that's not a bad idea.
Carmella and Zelina could have come out and they could have turned it into a tag match and then have Becky turn on Bianca after it, setting up the feud, but not have the title on the line immediately.
Well, was Teddy Long in Vegas? Because you would have needed him to set up the tag.
But they could have done something else. They could have done so many other things that they could have saved this. It's really remarkable that this is the route they chose to go.
Yeah. Stephen Marchichuli is saying, but the Becky pop was on a Punk level. What'd you think live?
I thought it was a huge pop. It was, I don't know if it was on a Punk level. That was just such one of the all-time pops. But, I mean, it was flirting with the Punk level because I think a mixture of fans thinking they were going to get one thing and just getting ready to turn on it and then immediately getting the other thing that I think a lot of people were chanting for. It was a huge, enormous pop. A top 2 or top 3 pop of the night. It was between Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch. Those were the 2 biggest pops of the night.
Yeah.
Plus, this was 3 times as many people in the live arena.
Yes.
Yeah. King Rail saying Corbin not coming out to music was epic. They've done a good job with that.
Big heat for Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I kept thinking like maybe Big E cashes in tonight on Lashley, but obviously that didn't happen. John Jordan saying, what's next for Cena? 2 roster shuffle anytime soon. Alfred's hat on location is gangsta as
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm loving the hat, man. That brings it all together, man.
Thank you. I'm trying out here, guys.
Nightmare Knee, your message is no longer showing up, so if you can go ahead and send that again, you don't have to do a super chat and we'll get it.
Yeah, I apologize. We just missed like 2 super chats.
Yeah, so, if we missed your super chat, just send it again. Just put super chat : in front and we'll get it.
What is next for Cena? I know that he's got that date at Madison Square Garden next month. I think he's teaming up with Rey and Dominic Mysterio against Roman Reigns and the Usos. To me, that just reeks of a dark match that won't be televised. So I think that we've seen the last of Cena on TV for the foreseeable future at the very least.
And I have a special report. Actually, I don't know if they showed this on air, but Brock Lesnar, after SummerSlam went off the air, delivered a couple of suplexes to Cena, hit the F5.
To Cena?
Yeah, to Cena. You guys didn't see this?
No.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar just mauled John Cena, and people are going crazy
shit.
for it. Oh, yeah. They might show it on like an exclusive, but, Brock Lesnar just beat the hell out of John Cena and then walked off.
Oh, wow. They should have shown that. That would have been a good way to take Cena if Cena's going to be off TV for a while. I think he's going to show up Friday and raise Roman's hand and put him over. Before
I don't think so because Reigns is a heel. If he was a babyface, I could see it, but I don't think it fits.
Well, we'll see. He just wants to be acknowledged, Raj.
Whoa, this is controversial.
Mike.
Mike
No.
Martin saying Alfred needs it.
it.
I don't even think he really sent a super chat earlier.
I think we've been bamboozled.
We have been
Double
bamboozled.
down, I'm never getting a new hat, Mike Martin. I'm going
Raj
to
is
send
the only
pictures
one.
of me.
Raj is the only one hatless on this podcast now, Raj.
Malcolm Mitchell is asking us, Sasha was absent due to being unvaccinated.
I'm not touching this one.
I have no idea. I have no idea why she was off the show.
Yeah. I mean, given what's going on right now, like, everyone's suspect.
I was told earlier off the show. I asked a couple So in general, I don't ask when someone's off the show why, because normally that's none of my business. They're off the show, they're off the show. But I did ask, like, is there any word on who's going to replace her? Is the match going to still happen? Because if you remember, like, Asuka and Lacey Evans, they were promoting that match. Even after, again, that was a wrestling exclusive. We reported that Lacey Evans was pregnant. And they kept promoting it. And then they were pushing on the pre-show, like, there was going to be a replacement. And Wrestling Inc. first reported that Asuka was actually not going to have a match that night. So I don't know. It's just weird. I don't get why they do that.
Did you see, Raj? This might be a good story to follow up on. There was a Hall of Fame talent in Vegas tonight who said they weren't allowed to be at the show.
Nikki Bella. Yeah.
There might be a story there. Sorry. I got
go ahead.
BM Williams 12151 $2 saying Alfred's hat has been the best part of some. Alfred's hat is the star of this podcast.
Thank you. A little love for that. It's a fun hat. I feel like at any second now this wind's going to blow it off my head, and Mike Martin is just going to love it.
How was the bar scene in Vegas last night?
Oh, great! Wonderful bar scene. I had me a good time in Vegas. I'm not going to say the hotel I'm staying at, but it's a great hotel. Well, it's at the Orleans, but so you're not like
Orleans.
Yeah, and it's a fun place. It's really an homage to New Orleans, and they make it look a lot like it. And WrestleMania was in New Orleans a couple of years ago, and I had a great time there. So it kind of reminds me of that same vibe.
That's where the Ring of Honor has their pay-per-views at the Orleans, man. That's a pretty good spot.
Yeah, they had Supercard of Honor there.
Global Force Wrestling, their first TV tapings were there.
Yeah.
I was actually at those.
Was still open. I thought they got demolished years ago. That's interesting.
Still there.
Check it out.
Real quick, Amit Chaudhry has tagged me in the tweet of Lesnar murdering Cena by suplexes. I got to put that on. Thank you, sir. All right. Well, should we run down the show, Alfred? You want to stick around or?
Oh, it looks like I'm going to have to get going.
Yeah, you can do your thing. It's the Cougar Hour is starting soon.
Dude, it's Saturday night in Vegas.
You guys have a good time.
Are you with Issa? Is Issa there with you guys? What's going on?
No, she's not here with me. I don't know. She's probably somewhere celebrating Roman Reigns' victory. But
I know.
I'll text her trying to get her to come on the show and say hi, you guys.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
good seeing you, man.
Thanks, man.
All right,
seeing you.
Nightmare Knee, please send us what your
awesome
question was, and we'd gladly answer it. Thank you.
Yeah. Here, let me get the branding back up.
He sent it back. There we go. Nightmare Knee is saying, I hated the Becky thing. I knew Charlotte was winning based on the booking they're going to face at SummerSlam. I don't know. It looks like Becky's now SmackDown.
Well, no, but...
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
I hope they stop doing the brand versus brand thing. It means nothing. Survivor Series has become such a pointless pay-per-view.
We'll get Becky versus Bianca at Extreme Rules. That's for sure happening.
Yeah. I'm all for Becky coming back and winning a title, but the way it was done sucked. Leon's a Duncan saying, a longtime fan, but I'm done with WWE seriously. As a black fan, the Bianca situation did it. It's not that she lost, but how. I defend WWE all the time, not now. I mean, I feel like WWE has gotten so much better as far as it feels like race doesn't matter as with your world champions anymore like it did in the past. When you saw Booker T which versus Triple H and the way that storyline was going, he should have won, and not only did he lose, they just kind of jobbed him out.
Yeah, it feels like there's a different tier system internally, which is inherently, if it's based on race, is racist.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, Becky's coming back, well, we want her in that spot. Brock's coming back, we want him in that spot. It is sort of like, huh.
But is it racist? Would they have done that same thing with if Nikki Ash was champion or Carmella was champion? I don't know. Yeah. WWE's had race issues in the past, so by no means am I defending it. It is curious that the two world champions that have lost over the past few years in under 30 seconds have been Kofi Kingston and tonight Bianca. But I think tonight it was more that Becky wasn't ready to have a long match. It was a last minute thing, so they had to do something quick. I'm hoping that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody consciously in the back made the decision to have that match go the way that it did because of race, but they sure as hell didn't think it through. I don't think that they at all connected the dots with the blowback that would come because of what they did with Kofi just a couple of years earlier. They clearly did not think this through, and I actually think that this backlash is going to catch them off guard, or has caught them off guard already.
Yeah. Amit Chaudhary saying, Raj, first of all, I'm a big fan of you from India. Thank you, sir. My question is whether the Lesnar return was one of the top 3 pops of all time. Look at the first Lesnar return. Do you guys remember that, the night after WrestleMania?
Was that in Houston?
I forget the city. It might have been. That was like 2014, I think.
And Cena was in the ring when Brock came back, right? Yeah, that was Houston.
It was, okay. And that was, Punk got a huge pop the other night. And when people are saying it's one of the biggest of all time, you forget that there have been gigantic pops over the years. And just Cena, just a month ago, was huge at Money in the Bank. So the Lesnar's tonight was huge. I don't know if it's top 3. There have been some huge ones. I thought Punk was one of the biggest the other night in a long time.
Antoine Fair with his super chat from before saying, do you think Bianca turns heel being mad at what happened and taking advantage of the internet heat for the finish?
I don't think you turn Bianca heel. She's such a likable babyface. She has everything you want to cheer for.
No, I think if anybody's going heel here, it's going to be Becky. And I know that, we talked a little bit about this earlier, and you're like, no way, she's one of the biggest stars of the company. Well, they brought Roman Reigns back. They turned him heel, and it's working out quite well. So why couldn't they try that again here with Becky? Plus it would give her an opportunity to team up with Seth. If they wanted to ever put those two together on camera, you'd have a couple of heels there. It's just a natural fit. But, all black outfit, not that she didn't wear a lot of black before, but she teased the crowd, and then they went to this quick finish. She said, let's blow the roof off of the place, and then they go to like a 3-second match. Like, give me a break, man. That's such a heel thing. So I'm telling you, like 80%, 85% certainty, man, she's gonna go heel here.
Antoine Fair, Antoine Fair, $5. Saying it's not a race thing. It was a bad decision. They didn't say she's black, take the belt off her. That's not racist. It's just effing stupid. It's a different day. I think they didn't think through the optics of it. That's like my perspective on it.
And I just think this is what WWE keeps doing. This is why they're not making new superstars. You had a young, hot babyface in Bianca. And you know what? Her beating Becky would have taken her to another level. I'm not saying that should have happened because Becky's first match, she probably should get the win. But you know what? What they really should have done is they should have had Carmella and Zelina Vega come out, and then Becky teams with Bianca.
Yeah.
People are going to pop huge. They love Becky being back. You do a tag match. Becky doesn't have to do much, and they get the win, and the fans are happy. And then they have a little standoff at the end and tease a future thing. I feel like that would have made more sense, but
you know what your flaw is with that thinking there, Raj, is that you're using logic, and logic need not apply in WWE. Just saying.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Best in the Smokers World, $5 saying, well, Brock came back and probably for more appearances. No wonder the budget cuts happened.
They can afford those talents with Brock Lesnar, trust me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Saudi is KSA's like more than gonna cover that. Nightmare Knee, $2 saying, I also said I loved Viking Lesnar. People really bought that he was not coming back based on the photos we were seeing and what he's been up to. He's very good.
I hate that ponytail. I don't know why, but Brock with that ponytail, it's just not Brock to me.
Hair versus title.
Are you guys seeing a Brock versus Gable Steveson match down the line? I think that is ready-made, man.
It's going to take Gable Steveson a little while to get ready, but I think he's at the point where you bring him in and you do it like you did with Rodman and Malone back in the day. You treat him like a celebrity, give him a few spots, rehearse his matches, but you take advantage of it now, because now is when he's hot. Now is when his name value is the most. And then you still have him train and, make limited appearances, work a few well-rehearsed matches along the way. But you need to capitalize when his name is hot, because 3 years from now, no one's going to remember.
Man, I wish Alfred was here, because to me on TV, it seemed like when the Olympians came out, Gable included, I mean, it was quiet, like, crickets. It didn't seem like a whole heck of a lot of people knew who he was yet.
Nobody watched the Olympics this year.
The Olympic. I know the other girl. I forget her name, But I didn't watch the Olympics. It was depressing every time I'd put it. I mean, I watched Simone Biles, but that was it.
Watched a little of the skateboarding and the BMX freestyling. It was interesting.
I mean, in general, I don't like the Olympics, but that's...
Hey, 2 years, 2 or 3 years, we get breakdancing in the Summer Olympics.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's skateboarding's an Olympic sport, but, MMA isn't. Yeah, it's... Screw that.
DJO, $5. Love the show and Chuck's hat. Where do we see Lesnar versus Roman? Mania, Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble.
I think it's Crown Jewel. I think it was done now.
Yeah.
That's way too far ahead. I think it's going to be Crown Jewel.
I think that makes sense. Michael Sachs Jr., $2. Big Pop Triple H return from injury at Madison Square Garden or CM Punk?
Ooh.
There have been tons of big pops. It's like, unless you have a decibel meter, it's impossible to say.
So here's how I would gauge that is like, if you were watching that, which one actually gave you legitimate chills, right? So like seeing CM Punk come out last night, I legitimately had, chills, man. I got goosebumps, right? I didn't get that with Triple H. So if I'm going to pick one here, just for the sake of picking one, I'm going Punk.
Punk meant a lot. Daniel Bryan meant a lot. Like the story behind it. I mean, with Becky, she took time off to pursue something that is a 100% worthwhile pursuit, and she chose to come back, and that's great. With Brock, no one feels like, oh, this is Brock living his dream. Brock just missed the fans so much. He has that connection. He's back following his passion. Brock's following a paycheck.
I mean, technically, Brock might have been louder tonight just because there's more people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were 3 times as many people.
You got that many more people, but I think the Punk one means more because it feels like I don't know, like a shift.
Yeah. King Rail, $2. Who gets it called Monday? Also, all rematches at ER. I thought he meant in the ER, and that would be an awesome pay-per-view where they go to the local medical facility.
I don't know, man. They
Rocky
did
style.
They did it in the headquarters. It wasn't that great.
Yes, I think in a hospital. Are we doing call-ups? Is that still a thing?
I think who's
Adam
facing
Cole?
Raquel Gonzalez?
Oh,
Dakota Kai, and probably Adam Cole if he stays.
Yeah, tomorrow night's going to be interesting. What happens with Adam? I don't know. If I'm him and you're reading about the changes that are coming to NXT, I'm throwing up the deuces and I'm walking out. Because no matter what promises, no matter what guarantees they give him for a call up to the main roster, you know that it's just not going to last. There's just way too much of a track record with WWE for a guy like Adam Cole, where they promise you the world, they give you a push for a couple of weeks, and then Vince is like, nope, isn't working. Let's bury him. 24/7 title, here you come.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be better if NXT was back to having to do races holding beer kegs around the ring? I'm just putting that out there.
Oh.
Pair them with a pro, give them contests every week. I think that's more watchable TV.
All right, let's get these
I know, we
last
have
two
all these
super chat and then run
Yeah.
through the show.
Okay, Dave, thank you for the $1 super chat. What else we got?
Jason Smith. Here we go.
I said Janza Duncan had one first.
Oh.
$5. Wasn't saying it was because of race. I'm saying as a black fan, it hurt me. So many things they could have done. Also, in popular opinion, Flair was great tonight. I
agree.
That's interesting. See, Charlotte Flair, even if you think she's overrated and often given these wins because of her stature within the company, she felt like she earned that tonight. That's what was missing.
She rises to the occasion every time.
Yeah. If this had been a 15-minute match and Becky had won, I don't think people would be this upset.
And the thing about the race thing, look, it sucks when you see finally the company pushing someone because they haven't a lot in the past, and then they beat them in 30 seconds. That's got to be hurtful. It sucks.
It all goes back to the way that it happened. And, you look at not just the match at WrestleMania, but the fact that got mainstream attention. That won a freaking ESPY award, right? I mean, that gets splashed across headlines nationwide around the world. And then to have all of that just snuffed out in the span of a blink of an eye, it's like, what in the hell are you talking about, Glenn? You hit the nail on the head earlier when you used the word optics. It's such bad freaking optics. It's just horrible. Horrible.
And you know what, man? That Sasha versus Bianca match, and it's funny. Last night I had sent out a tweet asking people, some people were giving this guy shit in the AEW crowd for crying when CM Punk came out. And I'm like, man, someone cares. You don't jump on him for caring. And then, I asked, like, who has cried over a non-tragic pro wrestling event? And non-tragic meaning death, tribute show, that kind of thing. And I never have. But really? I never have. No. I don't cry in general. Yeah. I have cried like I did the tribute shows and things like that, but not for storyline movies, things like that. But watching the Bianca versus Sasha match, my daughters came in and watched it with me, and it was an emotional experience because they were so into it. They were into the match. It was the first time they were connected to what I do, and they loved it. And even tonight, they were watching the beginning and then once Carmella came out, they kind of lost interest. But and that's no offense to Carmella, they just don't know who she is. But they, it was like a bonding experience for the first time with wrestling with my daughter. So anyway.
Jason Smith, $20 super chat. Here's a thought. PWL, Professional Wrestling League, WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact, TNA, trades, contract buyouts, draft from the indies, sort of like MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL. Whom wears Macho Raj, best podcast ever. Jason Smith just giving out business ideas tonight.
Look, I said this recently. I personally prefer, I know the Forbidden Door is great for talent, but I don't see it being great. I just think it's better when companies are on their own. They do their own stuff. They have their own talent. It muddies the waters when you see the same guy on 3 different shows. It makes it more special when they're only on one show, in my opinion.
You ever read those Marvel DC crossovers? They're not as great as we fantasized they would be.
Yeah, right.
Adam D, $5. I'm willing to accept all the poor booking decisions if they repackage Doudrop. Please make it stop.
Well, I actually think that they took a step in the right direction with Doudrop tonight, and so hopefully Doudrop goes bye-bye and we get Piper Niven back here ASAP.
I was trying to explain to my wife who Piper Niven was. And I was like, it is not this.
No.
We have an exclusive interview with Piper Niven, and she talked about how when she was told she was going to be Doudrop, she wasn't happy.
Yeah, I think it's getting.
And that's up on Wrestling Inc.
Better. So let's just cover a few results. Big E got his briefcase back.
Real quick, we got one last, and then
we have so many more to get.
Do we still have more?
There are more. Let me just read the results.
All right. After this one, since I put it up.
Jackson Darkness gave me $2. Anyone feel like Xavier? Usually funny, but today was bad. That audience was not popping for that segment.
Oh, I thought that my tweet. This was my exact tweet when that happened. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, they got paid. That was a sponsored thing.
Yeah, Pure Life Water. Yeah.
Okay, so Big E got his briefcase back from Baron Corbin. That was a first match on the pre-show. Good reaction. Big E looked dominant here. Baron Corbin gimmick is still working and over.
I love the gimmick. I think Baron Corbin's killing it.
Best I've seen him in WWE, man. I'm absolutely loving what he's bringing to the table.
He doesn't look like he's half-assing it, which is what I love. Like he's fully committed.
Man. Baron Corbin is low-key one of the more talented performers on the roster. In terms
he's
of
great. He's great. I'm getting a big kick out of it.
Absolutely. We went from that to the Raw Tag Team title match: Randy Orton and Riddle versus AJ Styles and Omos, with Orton and Riddle winning. So, RK Bro, is this it's working for you guys?
I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm going to enjoy it while it's here. I think that those two are really fun together, man. I'm just loving the whole Felix and Oscar odd couple dynamic that they bring. And for the company, RK Bro is going to be a merch mover, which means everybody's going to be making some money here too. I think it's entertaining as shit. I don't think that it's a long-term thing, but it could be the best tag team like that we've seen since Team Hell No. It's kind of that same, opposite
same vibe.
Dynamic.
It is working, and I think tonight was good for them. John Jordan. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
John Jordan, $5 super chat. Surprises is such a huge thing in wrestling time and again. It feels like AEW has huge edge on that right now. More to come. How does WWE counter? A better question to follow up on that. What is left after tonight? Who can they bring back now that they've pulled the two, in case of emergency, break glass returns that they've been sitting on?
Braun Strowman's not going to have that effect. Bray Wyatt, maybe. He would. But he seems like he's AEW bound, and we'll get to that soon. The one thing, and this is not a pro AEW thing or an anti WWE thing, but AEW feels hungry. Like they are trying different things. They're going for it. WWE feels complacent. They're bringing back the old tricks, Brock Lesnar, the guys that work, but it's not like they're, and granted, AEW brought CM Punk, but they're mixing CM Punk with Darby Allin. They're putting Brock Lesnar with Roman Reigns, who's been established for many, many years. It just feels like AEW is trying harder to bring new people up, and WWE is relying on the past. And I just hope that WWE can get that kick in the ass to really start, with the Bianca Belair. That's a perfect, analysis, comparison. Like she seemed on the ascension, and they just really brought her down tonight.
To the level of the ascension.
Yeah.
But let me pose this. Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman in AEW, roof blows off the pace. People are talking about excited. They come back to WWE. People are like, oh, well, that's nice.
Right.
Pretty much.
Bray Wyatt, I think, would have more of an effect. Braun, I don't know as much, but Bray for sure.
Braun in AEW feels like it's Tony really taking Vince's toys.
Right. He doesn't feel like he fits.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take Braun in AEW. I see him going back to WWE at some point. I don't see Bray going back to WWE for any time soon, that's for sure, given the circumstances surrounding his release. I know that they said for budget reasons, but I'm not sure that that's the entire story whatsoever.
Yeah. Should we get a couple more of these super chats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zay Money 252-499 saying, I believe Goldberg was legit hurt and they improvised that finish. What do you guys think?
No. He wouldn't use the chair on his leg if he was really hurt. That was clearly planned. The spot with the sun, everything, that was planned.
Yeah. Day, $2 should have had Bianca beat Carmella, and then Becky comes out. Probably what would have happened if she would have faced Sasha tonight.
That's a better, you know what? Have a short match with Carmella. Bianca wins clean, and then Becky comes out and just they have a face-to-face. That would have been way better in my opinion.
That audience was not, like, that match would have had to have been faster than it was.
Like 90 seconds.
Not even that. I think the audience, again, was pretty close to just, like, this was going to be like that Guns N' Roses incident in Canada that happened that time. Like, this was going to go really poorly. Anthony Martin, $4.99. I was at Rampage last night, and the pop was huge, but you can't compare any pop from tonight because it's going to be bigger automatically due to size. And it's true, it is a little apples and oranges. But right. I think we really hit the nail on the head earlier. It's the meaningfulness of it because anyone, you ask a crowd, hey, Las Vegas, greatest city in the world. They go, woo, that's us, yay. Like, it's getting the crowd excited is one thing, but when it means something is what it's all about. We got that one. Y2J. You guys tonight, this crowd is fantastic. Like, let me tell you, you're the best crowd tonight on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Yep. So many of you out tonight. So many people tossing super chats left and right.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Insane. I'm trying to find all of these.
Here, I got Y2J.
Oh, there we go.
What happened to Ripley when she won her first NXT title? She was the hottest thing. She's not just good as a heel. I just can't get into her now. They just don't know what to do with her. Like, I've always said this, and people got on my case back in the day with Rhea Ripley. I just don't see the main roster, Vince McMahon, understanding her character and getting her. And so they have her just smiling. She's just sitting there smiling, having a good time, just smiling. That sucks. Her entrance music is "This Is My Brutality." And she's just smiling. She's just sitting there smiling. What the fuck?
I talked about this last night. That's kind of what they did with Nia Jax. I mean, they gave her these squash matches, but then they, I'm not saying you have to mean mug the camera the entire time.
Right.
but you got to play your part. You got to play your role.
You don't smile the entire time.
No, but they did it with Braun too, with the Team Little Big and all that stuff. I mean, like, they really nerf, even with Brock and his dancing and whatnot. Like, they just can't have somebody just come out there and just play it.
It's one thing if you're established like Brock was. Where Brock is funny because he's so established that it's just kind of like, hey, he's having a good time. But with Rhea, she's a new character. You need to establish her first.
Yeah.
Figure out what her character is. You have her song saying, "This is my brutality," and she's just smiling the whole time. Is that the character? Like, she smiles, but she's brutal? What is it? She just sits there looking awkwardly smiling. Vince just, here's the thing, is like, if Vince doesn't get your character and he only understands certain things, you're kind of doomed. And I always felt like Rhea was kind of doomed because she didn't fit into Vince's mold. Like, he'll get a Mandy Rose, even though granted she's back in NXT, but he's more likely to get that than a Rhea Ripley.
Antoine Fair, $5. I teared up. I have 4 daughters. I had them come in and watch the Belair Banks match, told them about the progress, and it was a teachable moment.
Me too.
Representation matters, man.
It wasn't, and it wasn't just that. It wasn't like it was thrown in there.
Yeah.
It felt like a main event. It was a huge deal. It was awesome.
No, absolutely. And I think it's further breaking that mold, right? I mean, it's this idea with, that we see a lot of the same talent even just at the top. And I think you need to constantly be bringing up new talent and replenishing it. And you want more diversity and different styles of wrestling and just so much more there. And I feel like when they keep going back to the same champions, it's tough. It's really tough to get excited about it if you feel like, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Party Up Gaming, $5. Definitely wasn't a race thing, just bad booking. And let's not forget Becky is Irish, so she's a minority in WWE as well.
That's a reach.
Good luck with that argument. I'm Irish, and I'm telling you, good luck with that.
Yeah. KCPKP3, $2. AEW feels organic. WWE feels manufactured. I mean, I hate to break this to you, buddy, but it's all scripted and predetermined.
I get what he's saying. The crowds go, part of the problem with WWE is so overproduced that it's hard to feel organic. It just feels like a giant production and you're in a video game, and it's hard to have those organic moments.
Well, here's my question to you. If you're Tony Khan right now and you watch SummerSlam tonight, how are you feeling about coming out of Friday, right? So you have all of this momentum coming out of Rampage. Everybody's talking about you. You know that you're going to do hot shit next Wednesday on Dynamite. You're the talk of the wrestling town. But do you feel like any bit of that shine has been taken off based off of what happened tonight on SummerSlam?
I don't know. I think he should feel validated. King Rail, $2, saying, should AEW go to Mondays? WWE needs a wake-up call.
That would be the thing to wake them up for sure. It's not happening because Tony Khan says he will not put the show up against Monday Night Football. Like, that's his thing. But I'd love to see it. I think that would be an awakening.
I mean, it's one thing to beat NXT. It's another thing to beat Raw, which is just so well established, just from brand recognition standpoint, right? So we all three and everybody who's watching right now clearly is, a P1 when it comes to wrestling, right? You live it, you breathe it. This is your thing. All the promotions.
You dream it.
But the vast majority of those who watch on Monday nights, on Friday nights, that tune into WWE, they're not in this circle, man. Like everybody here right now, I would say, is a minority. And so, yeah, it's cool to dream and say AEW would go head to head and do quite well against Raw. I don't think that they're quite there yet. I think that they need a couple of more years.
I don't know that they need to win, though. I think it's like when Fox put The Simpsons on opposite NBC Thursdays and The Cosby Show. You don't need to win. You just need to make enough of a dent that you're taken seriously.
I remember when TNA did it, and granted, AEW is far beyond TNA, but they got crushed immediately.
Yeah. Ben Walker, $1.99. Randy directing Riddle after winning storyline.
thing. I wonder, how far ahead do you think they have this Riddle Randy Orton thing planned out? I think it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's generous. Day of.
And Monday.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have it planned out for months in advance, but everything changes all the time anyway, so It really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So let's just cover 2 more matches. Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss. Look, Alexa Bliss won this, but the real headline is that Dewdrop, Eva Marie, things aren't so copacetic.
No.
This doesn't deserve that much time. I think Eva Marie's a great heel. I love Alexa Bliss. I hate this character. I hate Lily. Everything about the doll, I hate with a passion.
Well, you're supposed to. It's evil dolls, man. It's Talking Tina, you know?
No,
Come on.
I like Chucky.
You like Chucky? Well, who doesn't like America's sweetheart, Chucky? You know.
How many Lily dolls do you think they've moved from WWE shop right now? Because didn't somebody report that the future of the Lily character pretty much depends on how the merch sales do?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the case with everything. But let me ask you guys this: did the Lily stuff seem over, or is it like people laughing?
I think people like Alexa still.
Yeah, because she's a star.
Yeah.
This stuff is so corny. It's so bad. Like, I didn't want my 5. Yeah, I'm not 5. Jesus Christ, I shouldn't need the ages of my daughters. 10 and 12-year-old girls walking in because I thought they were going to find it embarrassing. So,
I'm telling you, man, if the Gathering of the Juggalos weren't going on this weekend, ICP could have made their return with the oddities tonight.
You know, Cole Cabana was not at Rampage last night. CM Punk said he had no problem with anyone that was there. Cole Cabana
was Cole at the Gathering?
Yeah, he was at the Gathering at the Juggalos.
That makes sense. I have to send Cole a text, ask how that was. But no, I think Dewdrop, man, she needs to be Piper Niven again. Piper Niven, I was explaining to my wife, Piper Niven was so cool. Dewdrop, I'm just not, you know.
You know what? I feel like where the storyline's going is them turning on each other and Dewdrop, the Virgil Ted DiBiase storyline where she finally breaks free. But they did it too soon. They started teasing dissension like the first time they were out together. Let them be a pairing for a while. Mm-hmm. Then you start teasing dissension. Then when it happens, it's like they threw 8 weeks of storylines in 2 weeks. Anyway.
The show feels like there's no coherent planning right now. And I think part of that is because they don't know if they're going back to the Thunderdome. They don't know what's happening.
Oh, they're not going back.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, you got to plan for the worst. But I'm just talking the nation in general. I don't think we're going to go back to mandatory lockdowns.
No, but I have friends in the concert and event business that are posting about a lot of plans changing and a lot of stuff getting canceled.
But that's at the artist's request. It's not at the venue's request.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see.
And WWE is not going to request to cancel.
Worst case scenario, I think even local ordinances would have, you have to go back to that pod style seating. So you can't exactly fill the entire arena or the entire stadium, but you're still going to have fans in attendance. There's no way you're going back to the Thunderdome.
I think the mask is going to be as far as it goes because, I mean, we're at a point now where we got the vaccine where it's showing how the majority of the people that are getting sick and dying are unvaccinated. So where do we go from here? We can't get any better. So this is how it's going to be. So either we move on with this and people that are unvaccinated, they take their risks and, whatever. But
says the 3 guys that didn't go to Vegas tonight. Yeah. Raj, when you're at the live events again, I'll believe Raj has believed we moved on. When I'm at the live events,
I was partying last weekend.
Antoine Fair, $10. So when Conan, they had a guest on, said Bray was released because he kept needing time off, and then they were talking about a SummerSlam return, and he didn't want to put Bobby over.
Bullshit. That's not true.
Conan DM'd me once saying, have I heard about his podcast?
No. When Bray got released, the Goldberg Lashley match had already been in the works.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
KP3, $5 crab pop for Lashley beating Goldberg's son.
My only thing is it should have been more brutal. Goldberg's son passed out in like a second.
Age 15, man. Take
the hell out of that kid.
We're not all bumping like just
maybe because I don't spank my kids. that I want to see. No, I'm just kidding. I felt like it was a little weak.
How good of a bump can you take, Raj?
I bet you I could take no bumps.
Yeah, no. I think I would take one, and then I would need to go to the ER to get my back checked out. King, Rail $2, make Ripley Lily. I think her and Bliss could be magic. How come there's no rumors about that? Remember, so-and-so is going to be Sister Abigail. Well, so-and-so is going to be Lily. Okay, called up to the main roster.
Fuck. The sooner you get rid of Lily, the better the show gets.
Gigi Dolan's going to get called up to the main roster and be Lily. Mark my words.
Oh.
Some baller. Can Goldberg sue Bobby Lashley for child abuse? I think that's more criminal than a civil matter. Okay. Oh, here, this is interesting. Jason Smith, $5. WWE runs with crowd props till Mania, and AEW burns out of brand switchers. I mean, I think WWE is going to keep that pool fresh and stocked for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they've released like 100. What was it? What was the number? Somebody compiled it. It was like between 50 and 100 over the last year.
What's that?
Like between NXT, SmackDown, Raw.
Oh yeah, you could have had, instead of having Sheamus versus Ricochet 8 weeks in a row, you could have Sheamus versus Jake Atlas, but still keeping the Damian Priest feud going. You don't have to be wrestling the same person over and over every week.
Ricochet to AEW would be someone I think would do better.
Yes, 100%.
He'd be better there. I don't see him being a difference maker or anything.
I don't know.
I mean, who has been? Really, it's been Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, as far as real difference makers.
I mean, a lot of it just seems well received, but it's preaching to the converted already.
Right.
You know, that's why the rating for last night is going to be super telling.
I think it's going to be lower than 1 million, personally, just because
It did 750 last week.
I know. I think it's going to be like 850 to 900.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was under 1 million. I mean, 1 million, that's such a high number for a Friday night on cable. And they still did not flat out announce that CM Punk was coming ahead of time.
Right, exactly. I think if they would have announced it, probably would have been higher. But you're preaching to the people that already knew.
Yeah.
When Tony Khan is tweeting stuff, those are people that are already guessing that he's going to be there. So why not put that on TV to the people that aren't?
Yeah.
How many shows do you follow that you're checking out websites for it and the Twitter for it?
There's a handful, but mostly it's like with something.
Glenn is like everyone.
No, I mean, I go to like, the Marvel subreddits about like, oh, what's going on with the Marvel streaming show this week? What are the Easter eggs I missed? Or like, oh, has Kevin Kneff himself been renewed? I mean, I pay attention to like a handful of shows that I really like.
Like me and my wife were watching Never Have I Ever. I'm not checking out websites for that. So if there's a big surprise coming up, you gotta tease it in the trailer or something.
Yeah. But here's where AEW can capitalize. There are like 2 million and some odd people that have stopped watching WWE live. Like, if they're not getting some of that number, like, that's their growth opportunity. They need to get there before.
They need to grow, because last week's number kind of scared me. Because Raw went up, AEW for 4 weeks in a row went down.
But at the same time, more people are watching this podcast more than ever. More people are going to Wrestling Inc.
For sure.
Or on Twitter or talking about it. So it's like the passion is at an all-time high.
Yes.
It's a more concentrated audience.
It's the healthiest the wrestling business has been in 20 years.
Yeah.
Even though the ratings aren't where they were.
I tell you what, though, the rating skid for AEW Dynamite is going to end on Wednesday. They announced that Punk's going there. They're going to get a nice pop from that.
Yeah.
But, go ahead.
Tim Mickles, $4.99. I don't think it's about race. I think that Becky beating Bianca was their answer to Punk's return on AEW.
I don't think so. The Sasha thing was really a last minute. I think it was pretty last minute. I found out as the show started. It
seemed, last week, nobody tells me anything. But something last week with the live events really started to seem like there was a question. But
then it seemed like it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then they've been promoting it all week, so.
Yeah. So Damian Priest is the new United States champion, beating Sheamus tonight. Raj, what'd you think of this match?
I think Sheamus is incapable of having a bad match. I thought it was good. I think Damian Priest is a star. I think as long as he's not pushing people into kiddie pools and reading the lame scripts that he's given, he's got something. Like I could see him being an up, a top level guy.
He and Riddle are two of the more successful NXT call-ups in recent memory.
Damian Priest in our interview with him, he said Riddle's his traveling partner.
Oh, I'd like to see that episode of Ride Along.
That would be. I'm sure there's a lot of,
I thought that this was. You think? This was the best that we've seen from Damian Priest in a while. Like, this was tapping into his potential, and I think that he and Sheamus did a great bit of business in the ring tonight. But I think that it just goes to show you that, you just said, like, he's got a lot of star potential, and he absolutely does. And I really hope that they actually try to elevate the U.S., or as Tiffany Haddish called it, the the national championship with him. Sees that opportunity to build that up as well as Damian Priest is a viable contender.
Badass, man. He looks like a cross between the saxophone guy in Lost Boys and the bad guy in Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
What a pull. What a pull.
That dude could be next level. Like, he's got that look. It's just something about him is very unique. Very unique.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I think this is good for him tonight. This is going in the right direction.
If you book him right, he's a main event player.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have him wrestle The Miz tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Monday.
I need to, I don't even watch Raw, and I need a break from Miz and Morrison after tonight in that segment.
God.
That was so bad. KP3, $5 saying, fantasy booking, have Charlotte reach 16-time champion, then Charlotte Flair versus John Cena. Winner breaks. I could see them doing parallel storylines, because she's going to be close, man. She's going to be 16-time champion in the next 4 years at this rate.
Cena's not long for the wrestling world. He's getting these.
He's breaking it before he retires, though. That's his last run.
No. I think he's not getting another world title reign.
Really? That's it. Why would you get somebody that every time somebody gets to the point of a record, they do it, though?
He can't be on that kind of schedule to where he can get it and commit for a couple months.
Yeah, this probably would have been the time to do it with something like the U.S. title or something.
Yeah. When The Rock had it, he won it, but then he still went off, and he was off TV for good chunks of time.
But that was The Rock. Projects. If Cena gets to The Rock level, The Rock by that point was, The Rock opened the Super Bowl. Was it last year? Yeah, that was last year. Opened the Super Bowl. He introduced the U.S. Olympics team this year. He's kind of another level. I think if Cena gets to that point, they'll let him come in and win the title right off the bat. But I don't see them doing that otherwise.
Bad Keith Gaming, $5 saying, the aftermath of Bianca's match, Becky says directly to Bianca, it's mine now, are you okay? With a sarcastic thumbs up. That's a heel, right?
Becky's always been heelish. That's her charm.
Yeah, she's a smart aleck, as my grandfather would say.
What do you think, Chuck?
I think she's heel through and through. I know the fans are going to pop for her, but they got to push her as a heel, man. After tonight, they absolutely have to.
The Usos beat Ray and Dominic Mysterio to retain the SmackDown tag team titles. The Mysterios were harmonious. Dominic, take a swing at your father. It will be the most liberating thing you ever do.
You knew the result of this match before it even happened. You know that they're going to keep the gold on the Usos for a while. They just have to keep that whole family thing going with Roman Reigns. And sure enough, later in the show, they come out with them in the main event, holding their tag titles, loud and proud, high in the air. So you knew this is happening. And you also knew that they're going to, continue to kind of push that Ray versus Dominic storyline. So this one was inevitable. Not surprised whatsoever.
I'm going to have a sip of my Pinot Grigio and rant.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, we're getting drunk, Raj. This is great.
I might my pina colada, so I'm going to just mellow out here. Raj, go for it.
WWE's fucking problem right now is they repeat matches ad nauseum over and over and over. And the Mysterios and the Usos has been going on for over and over and over. Now on pay-per-view, this match was on the last one in the kickoff. Come up with something original. Get the what the fuck? I love Cobra Kai, but how many times am I going to watch? Is Miguel fighting? What's the other guy's name?
Bobby.
Is Miguel? No.
Robbie.
Miguel and Robbie fought at the end of every episode in the same setting. How old would that get?
Well,
and it was the same thing. And they just trade wins.
The Daniel Johnny misunderstanding thing, that's also getting a little old.
But they don't do it every episode.
They've done it a lot. They've done it 4 times.
They fought once.
No, not that. They're kind of friends and they have a misunderstanding.
Yeah, but that's different.
It's that's
different. That's storyline.
Yeah, I know.
Having the same match,
the
match,
this did not
over and over every week.
This did not need to be on the card.
It's been done over and over and over. It's like the missionary position.
There you go.
Let me ask y'all about
Dominic. What's wrong with the missionary position?
Great line.
Subject for another podcast. I asked Issa to go on Instagram Live last night and ask people to name different positions for different wrestlers. I think.
Do you ever watch that Simpsons where Apu? I can't remember if he was having a hard time getting his wife pregnant or something, but he's like, we've tried every position, and it's like, not Roman. Homer's like, every position on top and on bottom. But anyway, I digress.
Let me ask y'all about Dominic Mysterio while we're still on this match. Since he's come in, I really have not seen much in-ring improvement from him. I'm not going to say that I've watched him like a hawk all that closely, but he seems like he's so far behind everybody else that he's been in the ring with, and I just haven't seen him catch up at all.
He needs to get away from his dad. He needs to go do some matches on his own, and he will improve as a performer. The format he's currently in is very limiting his ability with these storylines.
You know what's fucking stupid is Adam Cole has been in developmental for 7 years or whatever it is. And Dominic, who could use NXT, never was there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Callion, Super Chat, best 2 matches for me were Seth and Edge and RK Bro. Common factor, old timers putting over the next generation. Coming back to Brock Cena Goldberg just for the money seems to have doomed the WCW way. I can get down with that.
I gotta admit, I was excited when Brock came out. They got me. I love Brock. I'm a huge Brock fan. And I'm a Goldberg fan too.
Jose Yepes, $2. We need Raj Trump to make Glenn laugh. Good work.
Here you go.
It's just because it's such a terrible.
It's not terrible. It's the best impression you've ever seen. It's the best impression you've ever seen.
I love it. I love everything about it. Every little thing about
it. It's not a political thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
More Pinot Raj.
Hey, that's a lever that Vince could pull. You want to pop a rating? Donald Trump's not got a lot going on. Bring him back for a match. I think he'll have a lot to say in his promos. Tim Mickles, $1.99. Talk your shit, Raj.
I'll talk my shit. We all talk shit. Everything's great. All right. All right, I'll stop. He got me going.
Okay,
I'm in character.
Gotta get through the super chats. S Pen, $4.99. Maybe Becky wins, ties into the EST rookie story, turns heel ruthless, less trusting. If Sasha's gone, they need a heel because Becky will get cheered. King Rail, $2. Actually thought Damian was hurt watching live. Interesting.
He did take that one spot over the top rope. He came down hard on the floor, if I'm remembering that correctly. I thought that he had actually hurt his knee a little bit there because he certainly took his time on the outside. Like if you go back and you watch that replay, you watch when he comes down, it looked like his right knee or his ankle kind of buckled there a little bit, and I was worried that he was pretty banged up, but he finished the match. Looks to be no worse for wear, but I definitely see where King Rail is coming from.
Y2J, $5 saying, so does Sasha go away again for a long while? Is she becoming too much of a headache? She's my number one, but even I am questioning her now.
Look, when I heard that she wasn't going to be on the show, I did not ask why. That's none of my business. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Tough call. John Jordan, $5. Why wouldn't they give Cena 17 at this point just to shove it to Flair now that he's not with the company? You know?
At some point, it's too petty.
Too petty for Vince? Have we decided what's too petty for Vince?
Does 17 take away from Ric Flair? If Cena gets to 17, is it all of a sudden like, oh, Ric Flair? Oh, he doesn't have as many world titles as John Cena.
It's a generational thing. I think Cena, that give him his roses on the way out. Like, let him have the final run.
But Ric Flair is Ric Flair. Ric Flair he's the GOAT. And I don't know. You can give Cena another run, but I can't see WWE doing it just to dampen him.
Azatez, I think that's how it's pronounced. Attitude Era is better than Raw 2021. Thoughts on AEW All Out? Is the Attitude Era really better? Have you gone back and rewatched that lately?
Oh,
no,
yes.
But you rewatched it lately?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
To
6,000% better. They didn't do the same match every freaking week.
That. So yes,
AEW All Out is going to be fantastic. They don't disappoint on pay-per-view. The only time I can remember being disappointed by a AEW pay-per-view was the exploding barbed wire match, and that wasn't even AEW's fault. So yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
King Rail, $5. AJ and Randy seem to love working with the younger talent. Respect that. With Sting working with Darby, you could even see Taker in that role. Is Taker coming back?
Taker's under a long-term contract with WWE, but I don't see them bringing him back in that role.
Yeah. I want to know what King Rail does for a living. Like they've been awfully busy in the super chat. Like,
thank you, King Rail.
King Rail is
I'm loving
the
King Rail, man.
When it comes to basketball picks in Las Vegas.
Is that
follow
what
King
the deal
Rail
is?
On Twitter, yes.
Okay.
I follow King
Nice,
Rail.
man.
King Rail is on fire with his tips and picks.
I'll have to follow. I will give him a follow.
My follow for the day.
If I'm not already.
I'm digging it.
So we talked about Becky versus Bianca. I think we and I'm sure it'll come up again, but let's talk about the match that had to follow this: Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre.
I went to the bathroom. I'm not going to lie to you. And by the time I came back, it was over.
It was kind of a nothing thing. I respect Drew for really wanting to give Jinder something because they're good friends. They've been friends for a long time, and close friends. Like they're in each other's weddings, or he was in Drew's wedding, or I think they were both in Sheamus's wedding. But regardless, I digress. I respect that they want to work together and everything, but man, I could not. And I think part of it was the storyline, like having swords and stabbing, and that's the storyline. It just sucked. It wasn't like if you had a story where these guys are close friends and Jinder did something to betray their friendship and Drew is really pissed. Kind of draw in that real life.
Yeah.
Then that would have been more intriguing and more heated. But when it's, we're trying to steal your sword, we're trying to steal this and that, it just sucked. The storyline sucked. This match sucked. It was just a piece of shit.
Who would have got a bigger pop coming back during this match, Hornswoggle or Heath Slater?
Ooh, Slater. Just because of the 3MB.
Hornswoggle, though, could in Saudi Arabia. He did before. It's possible. Don't count it out yet. What's Heath Slater up to these days?
He's in Impact.
Is he?
Oh, well, he's injured, but he's with Impact.
He can show up and do a promo.
No one knows what's going on in Impact.
It's true.
Their crossover with AEW has done nothing for them.
There are more people watching this podcast right now live than who watch Impact.
Yeah.
I don't even know what channel it's on. I don't even think I get the channel it's on.
Access?
It's Access.
Is it?
But
That was on Pop.
No, it's been off of Pop for a hot minute.
Okay. There you go. So Drew McIntyre won this match. To the super chats, Jackson Darkness Gaming $2. Drunk Raji he's Jack Farmer to swear.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, I'll get him to say. I'll get him to say something bad.
Oh, there you go.
The C word. I'll get him to say the C word.
Just put it in the super chats, and when you see a vulgar super chat, be like, Jack, can you read this one? That's how you
can
get
that be? Can that be the bit? Yeah, like $5. Jack says anything. It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
The C word.
Or just like create
I can't even say it.
Create a YouTube name like Sofa King, and then Jack will read that. You got him to say it. Like, it'll be good. Ben Walker, Buck99, Pat McAfee is a national treasure on commentary. I think Pat actually needs to bring it down. To me, he's like Morrow, but not as clever.
Right now, I'm enjoying the hell out of Pat McAfee. Really? I worry that he's going to want to become the show himself, but he's right there right now where he's entertaining. And I think that he's right now interjecting himself into it in appropriate places, like the Nakamura entrance with Boogs. Like, I think that that's just fun. But if he himself tries to really steal the show with every entrance, then it becomes an issue. But right now, I think that he's right on the line, and it's pretty good. It's working for me.
Do you remember when Dennis Miller commented on NFL games for like half a season?
Yeah, he was Monday Night Football.
Yeah, people were like, "This is too much." Like,
well, Dennis Miller, his jokes were always like, "Oh, yeah, it's like you go to take the light outside of it." It's like, like it was so over. No one knew what the hell he's talking about.
None of them were all not even smart enough to like pull a Dennis Miller type quote out of thin air. You know, like he is on another level. But with Pat, I feel like Pat's not as clever. Corey Graves is very clever. I've popped for Corey Graves' references and jokes, but I feel like with Pat, it's just kind of, I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with being shallow as long as you're insightful about it. That's an actual Dennis Miller quote.
There you go. So many super chats. You guys are incredible.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Peter Bahi, $2. Drunk Raj is a national treasure of everything.
Cheers, Peter.
Yes.
Cheers, brother.
So,
by the way, look at this bottle of wine. So this way, for my wife, I could say, "Oh, I've only had a bottle of wine." This thing is gigantic. It's like a 60, not even a 40. So
you killed that tonight.
Yes.
Well done, sir.
I still got a little bit here, but the plan is to kill it.
There you go. So this was, I thought up until this time, the best match of the night. Definitely top 3. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley versus Nikki ASH. Lengthy triple threat. I mean, Charlotte winning was one thing, but I don't think any woman looked bad in this match.
No, I wouldn't say anybody looked bad.
Nikki Ash looked bad.
For losing.
Not just that, but she won one match since she became champion. And in that match, she had her ass beat the whole time, and then Charlotte slipped on a banana peel and she got the win. So I assume because they booked her so badly and so weak that she had to win tonight. But no, they actually beat her.
I love Nikki. I think this character is not.
This character sucks.
But I will say this: she has done so much more and gone so much farther with this than I ever thought was possible, and I give her all the credit in the world for that.
Is the character dead now, though? She doesn't have the title. She's got to be.
It's
Dunsky.
dead.
Yeah,
it's dead.
Yeah,
and it sucks because you look at Nikki and she is the most likable person.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to want to root for her, and still, like, this crowd booed her, and it was either boos or indifference. And I just think, let her be herself without a stupid mask and the superhero costume.
But she came up with this. This was her thing.
I know, but it sucks. Sometimes
yes,
you got to get in people's way. You got to be like, "Oh, hey, I want to do this gimmick where I'm a turd." And it's like, no, that's not going to work.
Vince would pop for that. Vince would be like, "I can see the merchandise now." Like, think about how he was with draws. Like, this would be like that times 100.
Right? Yeah.
Sevi, $5. Anyone else concerned that Goldberg is going to kill someone soon? A few spots tonight I cringed for Bobby.
I thought he took a couple of bumps awkward. I'm not sure that he put Bobby too much in danger. It looked like Goldberg took the worst for wear on a couple of those bumps himself, but
that's what I thought. Yeah, I wasn't concerned for Bobby as Goldberg. When I was concerned was when he faced Undertaker and he's trying to do his 1999 Goldberg moves and while concussed. But I thought the match was sloppy, but I was never scared watching it.
Yes. Look at this Mr. Hobnobber here.
Oh,
Hey,
Bianca
hey.
Belair at the SummerSlam after party.
the hat steals the pick.
It does.
So all of you people ripping the hat.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's got game.
Who's hanging out with Bianca?
Yeah. There you have it.
I'm hanging out with Glenn and Chuck.
Hey, I'm a prize.
It's
fan.
up and up and how's that song go? The SummerSlam song.
I know, like that's like I added that to my iTunes library tonight. I was like, okay, now I need this is probably top 5, maybe top 3. Up there with The Weeknd, your favorite song.
Should I play it?
You're going to get a copyright strike. You're going to get muted.
All right.
Up there with Ti. You know.
All right.
No,
you know
it's
what
good.
my new Weekend song is?
Huh?
Is the Ed Sheeran?
Oh,
What's that song called?
no idea. I'm an old man. I don't listen to current.
Someone in the chat knows what it's called. The new Ed Sheeran song. It's the video is like Thriller.
Huh?
Bad Habits.
All right.
So-
Listened to the other day. It's so weird when I listen to current music. I listened to Faithy J, who just got a WWE contract at the Vegas tryout. And I listened to that. I was like, this is good, but I am too old to listen to this kind of music. Like, she has music. She wrestles. She's like a black belt. She's going to do very well in NXT. Looking at the video with her, the interviews, she was a very, very good pickup. And she was in Women of Wrestling. She was like the lioness or something.
Huh?
So
should we get a couple more of these super chats?
You want to tee him up, man?
Oh, geez.
Well, here we got King Rail, $2. You don't give Cena a title win unless it's Mania.
I still don't see another title win in his future, to be
I don't
honest
either.
with you. I suspect that he, as a performer and growing up as a wrestling fan, respects Flair. And I get the impression he doesn't even want to break it. He's just happy being tied. That's the way that I see this one.
I had tweeted this out earlier. How many? I've seen 2 John Cena movies in the last 30 days. I can't say that about anyone else.
Okay, but can we just be real for the people? Fast 9. What the hell, man?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Fast 9. So
Cena-
that wasn't one of the 2.
What 2 Cena movies have you seen in the past?
This
30
weird
days?
firefighter movie where
okay.
playing with fire. My girls love it. And then Suicide Squad, which was
that was
awesome.
a comedy, wasn't it? The firefighter movie?
Yeah, Playing with Fire.
Yeah.
It's something I wouldn't watch normally, but my girls, they loved it. And they loved, what was the other movie that Cena was in?
Blockers.
No,
That was
they're not allowed to watch Blockers. The one with he was the bull, the
Ferdinand?
Ferdinand.
Oh, yeah. That's a voice role, though. Does that really count?
Well, they know the voice. When you're a kid, you know that kind of stuff.
It's true. I am Vish. Raj, you missed you during Punk's comeback. Can you be available for AEW's great SummerSlam, by the way? Yeah, Raj, you want to do Friday nights? You want to Friday night get on this podcast?
Man, I need I have 80-hour work weeks right now. So I can't.
Jude Jacob, $2. Disappointed WWE 2K22 delayed till March 2022. Oh, what will that roster look like by the time that comes out?
I know.
Who knows, man? But Charlotte won tonight. She's the new Raw Women's
What
Champion.
is this? Raj, this is something Trump would say. Nancy Pelosi has walls in her office, but wouldn't let me build one.
Wow.
I get the joke. It's
I don't get it.
solid effort.
Yeah, A for effort. I'm not sure that that's the direction you want to take the show personally. That's opening up a can of worms there, Raj.
All right. I don't even get it. Missing Matt, right? Yeah. Is Brock face turn making sense? Not really excited to see Brock versus Roman. Can't WWE make a new star? No, they can't. But actually, to their credit, they have made Roman Reigns.
Yes.
It took them long enough.
He is, in my opinion, over anyone. Kenny Omega, anyone. He is the best character in wrestling right now.
Yeah. And let's see.
Anyone disagree? Chuck?
No. It's
Chuck,
just being
come on.
the most over period in as
just the
far as
best.
active full time. The best. I mean, he's well, that's subjective now.
Yes,
this
exactly.
is deep
That's
thoughts,
why.
man.
I know.
So just from moving a needle standpoint, I would say yes. I think that you could see some guys. I'll be curious to see what Punk does in AEW. I think that he has the potential to get there. I don't think Kenny Omega will ever get there. No offense to Kenny Omega fans. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know what, Raj? You're absolutely right. I can't even heal up on you here. You are damn straight. You are damn straight.
There you go.
So Edge came out tonight and did the Brood entrance.
That was awesome. I loved it. Everything about it I loved.
Who had a better entrance than the Brood in the Attitude Era? I got one. Go ahead.
No, I think there's
you guys first. Theatrical. You guys first.
I like theatrics.
What entrance was better? Entrance music was better than the Brood.
Entrance music. I legitimately like Shane McMahon's theme song. Like, I have had "Here Comes the Money" like in MP3 form probably for over 20 years now.
All right, guys in the chat, who, if you had to pick a theme better than the Brood, who is it?
Well, you got.
I got one.
DX in the hat. Jericho's theme should be in there, and I'm not talking about Judas. I'm talking about Break the Walls Down, and then the Game. And so those are three that will get up there. But the Brood. That to me, man, that's like one of those songs that's kind of under the radar good. When you ask somebody what's the best theme of all time, I don't think that a lot of people are going to throw the Brood back at you.
It was a relatively short-lived faction.
But the Brood's theme was awesome.
So
for me, it was when Run DMC did the DX remix.
Yeah, but that's like, when Limp Bizkit played Out Taker with Rollin'. I mean, that was...
No, but this was an original song. You know, it was WWE related, whereas the other was But
we saw last night, man, licensed music, holy shit, does that make a difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
So, Edge did that. I mean, this was a long-ass match. Did you guys see Edge winning this?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're not getting Rollins versus Reigns now. That's not happening.
They still go there.
They'll go there, but I think we're going to get Brock versus Reigns. I think we could get Edge versus Brock.
That could be that could be interesting.
Because Edge, they don't want to. I mean, Edge is doing four matches a year or something like that. Like, he's not going to go down. Like, they're going to make it count.
I think he should go down. I feel like he should. Who would be a good person? Like someone like a Kevin Owens. Turn Edge heel. Yeah, Kevin Owens, he's not necessarily a up and comer either. Dude, put him with someone like Adam Cole.
Hey, now you're talking.
Yeah. Or if they just bring back the Brood gimmick overall, and I think have him wrestle.
Well, you can't because Christian's gone.
Yeah, but he can still be a vampire.
Gangrel looks like he's 70.
Yeah, Edge can still be a vampire. He can get the teeth, get the chalice. You know, he could rock the Lestat look.
It's a little past his time.
Hey, compared to what they're doing with Alexa and Lily,
Yeah.
Peter Bahi, $5. Am I the only one that felt CM Punk returning was underwhelming? I already saw him recently on Backstage, and the show bombed. I don't get the hype. I mean, the contents of that promo, that wasn't even a promo. That was a connection with the fans that people would have thought was so fake if anyone else tried to do that. But that crowd, hook, line, and sinker was just on board with him.
Yeah, I appreciate the super chat, but I don't know how you can call that return underwhelming. I don't know what else you would possibly expect. Like, follow that up with letting us know what you would expect, because I don't know how you could possibly top that. Like, I'm honestly at a loss for someone who would think that that's underwhelming.
I thought it was amazing, but I do think, are they setting him up to just be another top guy? Or are we going to put him in a storyline that's going to suck people in?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle went to TNA, and it was huge. It resulted in a little bump for them for, whatever, 2-3 weeks. But it dissipated. You need to get him in something hot. You got the hottest guy right now. Put him in something huge. Darby, that's fine.
It's great. You can run through Jericho, MJF. I mean, it's all going to be interesting. And that's kind of the same point we're making with Edge, back to Edge's win tonight, is that's why Edge needs to go to a Brock. We need to see him at the top of his game, unless he really wants to get over younger talents. But that's not the contract they have him on.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to learn a whole hell of a lot about the direction that AEW is going to take with CM Punk at the pay-per-view. If Darby goes over on Punk in Chicago in Punk's first match in AEW, then you know he's just there to build new talent.
I highly
He's
doubt
not.
that's
He's
happening.
not. For sure. You know what's going to happen? CM Punk beats Darby. Kenny Omega beats Christian Cage. And at the end, Christian Cage, CM Punk have a confrontation. Maybe it gets physical. Punk comes out on top. You're not going to beat Punk right off the bat. No way in hell.
Yeah. So Goldberg, so Edge versus Seth was great. Very long match, very intense, very good. Edge going over. Then we had Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Referee stoppage on this. This was a very long match by Goldberg standards. He appeared injured after his son got in the ring. Bobby choked out his son. I mean, this isn't ending. This is going to keep going on.
Oh, clearly. This sounds like Crown Jewel to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless they made a deal with Goldberg to extend his deal for another match, because he's already had his 2 matches this year.
KSA money. Come on.
I know, they could do it, but Goldberg has 2 matches a year on his current WWE deal. He had one with Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. This was the second. They could pay him more to do Saudi Arabia. Obviously,
just stipulate that you're traveling on Vince's plane, and everything will be fine.
The stip should be you get out of the country okay.
Yeah, by traveling on Vince's plane.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if anyone's making it out of there, it's the old man.
Everyone that wins these matches tonight gets to fly on Vince's plane. The rest of you,
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, it's interesting. But this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting the traditional Goldberg match tonight.
It's funny. I look at Goldberg's son. I look at him. He's got star quality. He's only 15, but he's got size. He's got a good look. I could see him being a star if he decides to get in pro wrestling. Mark my words.
Let's not rush him. Don't want to put pressure on the boy just yet.
He's 15. He's 15.
Feuding against Dominic Mysterio.
He's not far away from that.
Sad but true.
So I am Vish. Fantasy book 2 feuds for Roman post Brock. I mean, one's got to be The Rock. Roman versus
The Rock. You can't ignore that.
So I think I've got this laid out pretty long term here. So go with me on this. I think that you got Roman versus Brock. Roman goes over. I think that you have to continue to build Roman until you get to Rock at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, Rock goes over. They have the rematch at SummerSlam. And then Roman reclaims the title, and he is officially 1,000% the made man and the next Jesus as far as WWE is concerned. That's where I see this going. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you, but for the next year, that's how I see things playing out.
I think you have Brock beat Roman at Crown Jewel, and you have the rematch at Royal Rumble, and Roman wins that. And Paul Heyman kind of turns on Brock. Roman saying he's the tribal chief, whatever. Boom, the Rock's music hits. There you go. And that sets up the WrestleMania match.
Could go that way. Could happen. KCPK3, $5. Can we get Lesnar versus Lashley already? They're literally in the same building. Brock should have come out when Lashley was attacking Goldberg. I mean,
you can't put Brock anywhere else but with Roman right now just because of the Paul Heyman connection.
Yeah. Roman's winning.
Is where he's at. Of course.
Who knows? Every time with Brock, it's always a wrench in the you never know. Because what was that WrestleMania where everyone assumed that Brock was winning? That Roman was winning. There were 2 WrestleManias. One where Seth cashed in, and then there was the other where Brock actually won.
Touche.
Was that New Orleans? No, that was the Undertaker match. Florida? No, it was Florida, maybe?
I think it was Florida. It was like 33, maybe?
Yeah. The year after Dallas, after the Triple H.
Yeah.
So the main event tonight, John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I and many others predicted this was going to be a relatively short match, given the stipulation that Roman said if he was losing, he was leaving WWE. They really gave John Cena like a lot of offense in this. It made it seem plausible that he could win. This match went on about 3 times longer than I thought it was going to, or perhaps even needed to. Chuck, what did you think of this match?
I actually liked it. I thought that they told a good story, a lot of near falls, false finishes. I think that for having been out of the ring for as long as he has been, save the, dark matches that he's worked, I thought that Cena looked really good tonight. So I was not disappointed in this. It was kind of exactly what I expected it would be, with the exception of Brock coming out at the end, obviously. So, yeah, I wasn't disappointed, man. I would actually give this a good 3.5, 4 stars. I mean, as far as a Cena match goes, this one was up there, man. He's a hell of a good storyteller in my book.
So many long matches. It's like Guns N' Roses doesn't close with November Rain. Like, this was a very lengthy match, very long.
Was it too long in your opinion?
It was just a really long show. There were a lot of matches that did not need to be on the card tonight.
I didn't think this match was too long, though. I disagree with you. I thought it was perfect. Like, I was actually negative on the show until this match. And then once this match happened, I was like, this was good. And then it got me more and more in. And by the end, I was sucked in. And then once Brock came out, I was like, all right, this show's... I've completely turned the page on this show. Because I was ready to... I was planning to shit on this show tonight. I was, just put SummerSlam down and just... lay down and take a giant shit.
I had my pina colada ready. I was like, we're going to get on the air. Can't wait to be with the wrestling community. And then I'm just waiting. Like, this match is going on a really long time. Like, Cena's not winning this, right? Like, just hurry this up already,
That's not a match you want to hurry up. You want to hurry up the Miz Morrison Moist segment.
Yeah, we could have dropped the Usos.
Did we talk about that? Did we get to that?
We've referenced it.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Raj, it's like 11 o'clock. My Saturday night is done at this point. I was going to watch Strange Days with my wife. That's apparently not happening now.
We need to talk about why that segment was on this show. Other than it was
paid for.
It was paid, man. That was
I know.
A pure life
but
the drip cannon.
Is it worth it?
How
much do you think they were paid for that?
Probably $1 million. The zombies thing was better. Easily $1 million.
Yeah.
But the zombies thing was at least different. I mean, it sucked, but at least it was.
What was worse, this or the zombie segment?
No, this. 100% this.
I thought this because it just dragged.
It was bad. It was bad. Whoever thought this up is like god awful. I don't mind sponsored segments, but Jesus, like, can we please have them at least be entertaining? It was just painful, and I feel bad for Xavier Woods. There was nothing he could do to get this thing over.
And his Scott Hall, his Razor Ramon. I think we could do a better Razor Ramon accent than Xavier Woods. That was the worst.
Fired.
Now, here we go. As we get close to the end of the show here, Raj, I'm going to throw down the challenge of all challenges. I want you to do Trump impersonating Razor Ramon.
Chico. That's all.
No, I'll take this further. Okay, Xavier Woods, Raj Giri is calling you out. I went on Twitter. I want to Razor Ramon off between Xavier Woods and Raj Giri. Everybody tweeted at Xavier to make this happen. Because Raj says anyone could do it better.
Chico. I guess it's kind of hard.
Yeah, you'll take like an hour or two to work on it.
Give me a little time. I can do it.
A little time. We'll do it. Okay.
Chico.
You need the toothpick, or else.
Tierra. You are the. Oh fuck, jeez. Okay, I can't do it.
You need more alcohol and a toothpick.
I know. I need
more alcohol and a toothpick.
Bottle of wine is empty. All right, let's get to this news.
Which is KCPK3, $2. Not news, but saying Adam Cole to AEW, baby. Hey, let's see how tomorrow night goes.
I hope for his sake you're right.
Ben Walker, $1.99. Pete, you might be the only one. I have no clue what that even was about. Peter Bahi, $5. Chuck, he was in Chicago. He won't get that reaction in Georgia. I think CM Punk's going to...
For a little bit. It dissipates over time. It's how they use them.
KCPK3, $5 CM Punk return video and promo video is trending number 1 and number 2 on YouTube. I think he moves the needle. We got to see what that rating is because that's what matters the most.
And again, in 3 weeks, it's not going to be number 1 and number 2. No. But so it's how he's used. And, I have confidence he's going to be used well.
Yes. Okay, let's get to the news.
And
Glenn?
Oh, I never do the news.
Alfred. Oh! It's been
crap.
a while.
Well, hold on. Aren't we talking about the rumors of Bray going to AEW?
Yes.
I believe that was in the run sheet. So, yeah, I think that this is a good fit. Obviously, he teased that he's making some sort of move on Twitter, and there was the proclamation or the report out there that there was another major acquisition coming to AEW outside of Bryan Danielson, and I assume that they're not referring to Ric Flair, and so who could that be? Magic 8 Ball says Bray Wyatt. But does he come in as the Fiend or does he come back as, the original Bray Wyatt kind of character?
Thank you, Chuck, for saving that segment.
You're welcome. Are we being facetious?
No, I'm being serious.
News?
I'm kidding. I mean, seriously. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm not giving shit to Glenn. I'm just kidding.
Don't do the news. I like to share with the co-host.
I'm saying you saved me from doing it because I'm not good at it. You know what? Bray Wyatt to AEW just reminds me that AEW feels hungry and WWE feels in corporate mode. They're complacent. They're willing to let, they don't care who's going or who's coming. They're in their cog. And I don't know, man. I think they're putting their guard down, in my opinion. They're getting too corporate. They're putting their guard down.
Yeah, but they're selling the company, though.
Nick Khan has said that that's not the case. Now, I don't know how much stock you put in him. I don't know him. I don't know if he's trustworthy or not. But I do know this. The sad part is that it is impossible for WWE to fail financially right now.
Yeah.
They are going to do what we refer to in media as failing up, in that their ratings will go down, the attendance will continue to slump, but for whatever reason, they're going to be able to continue to sell the hell out of themselves based off of the legacy of WWE, not the product that they're putting out today. However, that will only continue for a certain number of years. So this next TV contract may be the one after, but if they haven't started to move the needle beyond that, then they're screwed. But right now, they can still ride on the back of what they've built for the previous 35 years.
But that's where I think, and this is kind of like a Disney Marvel or Disney Star Wars situation, and I don't think it's going to be Disney. I think it's going to be NBC Universal or somebody who says, oh my God, could you imagine if we had a real media company pulling the strings here and working behind this, and it wasn't just some crazy old man and his gaggle of yes men determining the fate. I think it's going to get too appealing given all the consolidation going on right now. I'll be very surprised if they do not sell in the next 2 years.
We are in we're in an interesting period where we're seeing, when people say oh my God, Raw was number 1 for the night or Dynamite was number 1 for the night. It's well, look what they're up against. There's nothing impressive that they're up against because all these stations, all these companies now, they're putting their big stuff on streaming. So when you hear The Mandalorian, it's not going on Disney Plus. I mean, it's not going on
ABC.
ABC or
the Disney Channel.
Exactly. It's going on streaming, Netflix. You hear all these big actors. Very little big projects are going on cable anymore. It's just trashy reality shows and sports. And when there's no sports, wrestling does good. When there are sports, it's not so much. But I think we're getting to the point where cable is dying, and we'll see. I think they'll want wrestling on streaming, and I think at some point that's the move that's going to happen.
I don't know, though, if it's going to move the needle nearly as much as they hoped. I mean, you look at what happened with the WWE Network, and it wasn't there. And I know that Raw has an audience that they built up for however long that it's been on TV, but I just don't know that audience, 100% of them, is going to follow them into the streaming realm. I think that it's going to be they're up Schitt's Creek basically as soon as everything moves to streaming.
But look
They're just
at
up Schitt's Creek.
Disney Plus is a great example, and I see Peacock wanting to emulate this. Look at the Marvel Universe, the MCU, most successful film franchise of all time, built around getting people into movie theaters, watching these things. And now they've been able to transition a lot of that to streaming. And it's funny, I was just looking on Twitter, I was seeing the sponsored Hyundai ad, Marvel Studios, and they got Anthony Mackie, and they got Loki in there, and they got Scarlet Witch. I mean, it's like you can move to streaming and increase the value of your property by putting out a higher quality product and a less frequent schedule. I think WWE can do a weekly TV show, but they could do so much more if they have the NBC Universal powers. But the streaming deals tonight, this thing with Smart Water, I mean, these sponsorship deals WWE does are nothing compared to what's out there in the other world of media. And I think that you're going to get a massive media conglomerate that just says, even though they're more profitable than ever, they're still leaving billions on the table because they aren't savvy enough to capitalize on this.
Yep.
I mean, we're at the point where linear TV is basically dying. And, when I saw the Heels, the ratings for Heels, that new TV show with Stephen Amell, and I couldn't even take it seriously because...
How bad? What's it, like 200,000?
No, it was under that. It was
really?
Like, yeah. God, let me bring it
the
up.
Starz audience, based off of what I know about some of their other series like Power, they are very much into on-demand viewing. Starz is notorious for releasing their stuff earlier in the day, so that live audience really doesn't mean a damn thing.
Exactly.
It's the DVR, the on-demand numbers that are really going to be the telling ones, and I bet you that they at least matched their live numbers, if not exceeded them.
Well, and there's also a subscription service, and it's a difference. It's like, it's like Joe Rogan and Dak Shepard, these guys going to Spotify. Spotify doesn't even have to sell ads if they get more Spotify premium subscriptions. It pays for itself. So it's a bit of a different business model. But I'm telling you, with Peacock, they really could use more content, and I think this could be a way to do that. King Rail $5 super chat saying Bobby has been booked so bad the last few months. Should be sitting at Bobby and Brock. Roman doesn't need the rub. Bobby could use it. I thought Bobby beating Goldberg tonight, man. I mean, I think everyone's worst fears is that Goldberg comes in and 90 seconds destroys the champion. Like, this was not that tonight.
I don't think anyone's been booked better than Bobby, other than Roman.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they've actually done a far better job with him than I thought that they would. Like, I was thinking his days were numbered as soon as they broke up the Hurt Business, but I mean, they've done a really good job of keeping him with MVP. They've, I still like where he's at. I did not like the angle tonight necessarily, but he is a credible champion in my eyes. And so for that, I will definitely give WWE credit.
Yeah. Real quick. Heels did 128,000 viewers on Starz. Again, 0.02 rating. Not 0.2, but 0.02.
Yeah.
Normally, that's not a big thing, but the lead-in did 386,000 and a 0.13. So the lead-in was way stronger. Again...
What was the lead-in? Does it say?
Yeah, it was Power Book 3 Racing.
Okay, right. So that is the spinoff of Power, which is the most popular series in the history of Starz. Like, so yeah, but you're not going to retain that audience 100%, man. That's like a sitcom coming off of the Super Bowl, right? So you have like 20 million people watching the Super Bowl. You get 12 million maybe that stick around for the sitcom. So right. I still don't hate it.
So what else is in the news? What else we got?
Man, I think that might be about it.
Yeah, man. That's what we got. I'm sure
had a long show.
A lot more coming out, yeah.
So tomorrow night, me, Alfred, Issa, they're live in Vegas. I'm still in Northern California. We're going to talk about NXT TakeOver 36, the end of an era.
Jesus Christ, I totally forgot about TakeOver.
I know, it's like we're having the foreplay last this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're taping 3 weeks of NXT on Monday and Tuesday, I think.
Not the worst thing, though, because NXT was a very strong show when it was taped before.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is going to be unpopular, but NXT as far as replacing people with big muscle-bound guys, I don't agree with that. You need people with charisma and star power, regardless of size. As we've seen, Conor McGregor is the most over guy in all of combat sports right now. But their current formula was not working. It looks minor league compared to AEW, WWE. And I don't think they need LEDs everywhere, but it shouldn't look like they're in a warehouse with 50 people.
No, the pandemic really hurt NXT.
Even before, actually, it looks like there's more people now than it was before because they would black out everyone. So it looked like there was a row of people.
It still looks pretty barren.
Yeah, it looks low rent is the thing.
But supposedly they're redoing the set. That's part of why they're going to take this downtime.
I mean, NXT got hurt the least with the pandemic as far as ratings go.
Yeah, and they're not going back to Full Sail.
No, they're done with that. I wonder though if NXT gets renewed when that deal comes up with USA, or do they move that back to a Peacock or a WWE Network / Peacock exclusive? I could see that happening for sure.
I can see that happening because people will say like, "Oh, it does better ratings than other shows on USA," but wrestling gets way lower advertising rates than other shows. So if it's not beating what another show would be getting revenue-wise, then
The Purge was doing like 1 million viewers a week on USA.
I did not.
The movie?
No, the TV series that they canceled.
Was that any good, that TV series?
I heard it was good because it takes place in between Purge nights, and you also have people doing Purge crimes that are like robbery and other stuff. Like, I'm more intrigued about the TV show than I was the movies, to be honest, because the movies are just kind of the same thing. Again,
I've never seen a Purge.
It's an interesting idea.
It's not bad. Watch the movie.
Okay.
Watch the movie.
The first one, though, is not like the other ones. The first one is bottle. It takes place all inside one house. It's very low stakes compared to the other ones. I recommend it. It's kind of more like the first Saw was kind of a little more down to earth, and then it got crazy. Okay, I'm going to go watch Strange Days, 1995. Joseph Fiennes had the best
Thank you guys for tuning in.
trailer ever. I was disappointed when I saw it before. Going to watch it again. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. He's at Raj Giri _303. He's at Chuck Carroll, WLC. Pardon me, Ray Fiennes, not Joseph Fiennes. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Give me a tweet, shout out. Tomorrow night, NXT Takeover 36. Be there. Thanks, everyone. Happy SummerSlam.